our top story. 6 days after he was stabbed in his house, actor Saif Ali Khan was discharged from Mumbai's Lilavati hospital on Tuesday. The actor was seriously injured in a knife attack during a burglary attempt at his Bandra home. Heavy force was deployed at his home. Mr. Khan, it is learned, has been advised complete bed rest for a week and asked not to receive visitors. Earlier on Tuesday, the police recreated the crime scene at Saif Ali Khan's home with the accused. The police also spent about an hour inside the actor's residence trying to understand how the attacker entered the house and carried out this crime.
It has been a crazy day for Saif's family as well as for the media, because there was a lot of anticipation. We knew that Saif Ali Khan will get discharged after 5 days. Of course, the family has been going through a lot. Like I said, it was a ritual that every day in the morning, Saif Ali Khan's mother, Mela would come into the hospital and then leave only in the evening. She would be there by Saif throughout the day. And same thing happened today. Sharmila ji was the first person to enter the hospital and left with her son after 4 o'clock. Around 4:15 they left the hospital through a back gate, and you saw the visuals. Saif Ali Khan was wearing a crisp white shirt with blue denim, sitting in the front seat of the car, smiling at the media and even waving as he went to his apartment, where I'm right now at Sadhguru, which is just 2 kilometers away from Lilavati hospital. He even stepped out of the car and waved at the media and showed a thumbs up. He looked absolutely fine. We saw he was wearing a hand brace on his left hand because he was wounded, but the way he walked out, clean shaven, looking great. So the fans were extremely happy to see him like that. But of course, the doctors has said the injury that he has on his back because of that blade going inside his body is a major injury, and the operation was a neuro operation that happened, neurosurgery. So he has to be on bed rest and he has to take care of himself and avoid any visitors because there are chances of infection.
Switching tracks to some political news now. With Delhi polls nearing, political parties are busy making big promises to the electorate. The BJP released its second manifesto on Tuesday and promised to provide free education from KG to PG for needy students in government education institutes of the city if voted to power. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party has hit out at the BJP, saying that education is already free for all in Delhi, and BJP will curtail free education only give it to the needy if they come to power.
दिल्ली में सरकारी शिक्षण संस्थानों में जो जरूरतमंद छात्र हैं उनको पीजी से लेकर केजी से लेकर पीजी तक की मुफ्त शिक्षा देंगे। केजी से पीजी तक मुफ्त शिक्षा मिलेगी दिल्ली के जरूरतमंद छात्रों को सरकारी शैक्षिक संस्थानों में। जी हां, आपने ठीक सुना, केजी से पीजी तक मुफ्त शिक्षा प्रदान करेंगे जरूरतमंद छात्रों को सरकारी शैक्षिक संस्थानों में।
सबको अब मुफ्त शिक्षा बंद करके जरूरतमंदों को देंगे। इसका मतलब लोग इनके नेताओं के घर के चक्कर काटेंगे कि मेरा भी मुफ्त करा दो जी, मेरा भी मुफ्त करा दो जी। मैं दिल्ली के लोगों को चेतावनी देना चाहता हूं, ये बहुत खतरनाक पार्टी है।
Now, BJP candidate Parvesh Verma from New Delhi Assembly constituency has hit out at Arvind Kejriwal, accusing him of misusing Punjab government machinery in Delhi polls. Earlier, he had filed a complaint with the Election Commission and alleged that AAP has violated poll code. He alleged that several Punjab numbered vehicles can be seen in Delhi constituency. This too ahead of the Republic Day.
इलेक्शन कमीशन को मैं कहना चाहता हूं, आप ये नई दिल्ली विधानसभा की घेराबंदी कर लीजिए, नई दिल्ली विधानसभा की किलाबंदी कर लीजिए। पंजाब सरकार के सरकारी टीचर, पंजाब सरकार के डिपार्टमेंट में काम करने वाले सरकारी नौकर आज वो आम आदमी पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता बनकर यहां पे लोगों को भड़का रहे। क्या कोई सरकारी कर्मचारी पंजाब से आकर यहाँ पे दिल्ली के चुनाव में एक पार्टी के लिए काम कर सकता है क्या, ये मेरा सवाल है चुनाव आयोग से।
Now, with the convict in the Arjikar case being given life imprisonment as punishment and not death penalty, the ruling Trinamool Congress says if the case was handled by the state, the prosecution would have ensured death penalty. The victim's family also says that they will wait to go through the judgment.
The West Bengal government has moved the Calcutta High Court demanding the enhancement of sentence to death penalty for the RG Kaur Medical College rape and murder case convict Sanjay Roy. On Monday, a court announced life imprisonment for Roy, saying that the case did not fall into the rarest of rare category and that the court had focused solely on the facts and evidence presented during the trial rather than being swayed by public opinion or emotional reactions to the case. The West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said she was shocked by the sentence and will appeal for a death penalty in the higher court.
দেখেছিলেন আরজিকর কেসে আমি বলেছিলাম আমরা ফাঁসি চাই যাবজ্জীবন মানেটা কি অনেক কেসে আমরা দেখেছি 2-3 বছরে বেরিয়ে গেছে পেরোলে বেরিয়ে যায় তারে অন্যায় করেও তাকে ক্ষমা করে দেব কেন বলবে এই কেসটা আমি সত্যি শক কি করে বলেন জাজমেন্ট একটা জাজমেন্ট আমার পছন্দ হয়নি It is not a rare of the rarest case.
The BJP has scoffed at Mamata Banerjee's statement.
वो ड्रामाबाजी इसमें कोई ग्राउंड रियलिटी नहीं है स्टेट गवर्नमेंट इज फुल्ली रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर दिस इंसिडेंट इसलिए राज्य सरकार का कोई ड्रामाबाजी वो फैमिली लीगल बैटल लड़ेगी उसका तैयारी चल रहा है और फैमिली जो करेगा हम लोग का सपोर्ट विक्टिम फैमिली का साथ।
The family claims the judge has lived up to the faith they reposed in him. They seem to disagree with the Bengal government's move to rush to the High Court and say the CBI has not been able to provide proper proof.
জজের উপর আমরা পূর্ণ আস্থা রেখেছিলাম, জজ তার আস্থার মর্যাদা রেখেছেন। সিবিআই তার যে সঞ্জয়ের এগেনস্টে ঠিক মতন তথ্য প্রমাণ দিতে পারেনি বলেই তার যাবজ্জীবন হয়নি, মানে সাজা মৃত্যুদণ্ড হয়নি। কালকে রায়ের কপি হাতে পাবো এবং পড়বো, দেখে আমরাই সিদ্ধান্ত নেব। ওনাকে অত ব্যস্ত হয়ে এগিয়ে এসে কোনো কিছু করতে হবে মুখ্যমন্ত্রীকে, কারণ উনি এতদিন যা করেছেন আর যেন উনি না করেন।
The trial court in the Arjikar rape and murder case pulled up the police and hospital authorities for their lapses, and at the same time it said it was the convict who committed the crime based on the evidence presented in court. The court also dispelled conspiracy theories after a detailed critical analysis of the evidence presented in the court. However, even as the court says that it's not swayed by public sentiment and emotional reactions but only considers the evidence, the death penalty calls on this case still continue. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Now, a tanker truck transporting anhydrous ammonia experienced a sudden gas leak near Sankarda flyover close to Vadodara on Tuesday afternoon, causing panic in the area as traffic on the highway came to a complete standstill. The world's richest and most powerful people are gathered in Davos in Switzerland for the World Economic Forum. My colleague Vishnu Shom spoke to Geeta Gopinath, the first Deputy Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund or the IMF at Davos. She said that India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Smriti Irani said that India should lead the narratives now on world issues and should not be constrained by geography. Listen in.
I've gone through your latest report where you call it global growth divergent and uncertain, where you're saying that it's going to be 3.3% global growth both in 2025, 2026. That's below what the historical trend has been. What do you see as some of the primary headwinds impacting this?
Yes, so Vishnu, first of all, a pleasure to join you. We see global growth holding steady at 3.3%, but as you mentioned, it's quite divergent. On the one hand, we see the US as quite strong.
Yeah.
We've been upgrading our forecasts. Well, on the other hand, Europe is somewhat weaker,
and China, it also has its own challenges. Now, in terms of what countries need to do so that we have more balanced growth in the world, I think it's pretty country specific and it's going to vary country by country. In the case of China, there's a lot more they need to do on the property sector, bringing up domestic demand. In Europe, they have to take actions to raise productivity, get growth going, and so on. So at the same time, there are a lot of developments on the external front when it comes to geopolitical tensions, trade policy in the world. And that's something that governments around the world will have to, deal with.
Right. Well, we were looking at, you've also obviously mentioned India. It is a very large growing economy, but your words are cautionary, I would say. Growth in India also slowed more than expected, led by a sharper than expected deceleration in industrial activity. A couple of years back, we were well above 7%. The target has always been 8% plus. What does India need to do to get back to those 8% plus levels?
Yeah. I mean, firstly, just to put things in perspective, India remains the fastest growing major economy in the world at 6.5%.
Yeah.
Now, the growth is lower than what we had initially expected, and that reflects the fact that in the second half of last year, 2024, we saw a slower start to public investment following the elections. Now, we expect that to bounce back, which is going to bring back some of the recovery. We're also seeing the rural sector consumption strengthening, which is something that we had expected that it would. But more generally, in terms of getting growth to higher levels on a more durable basis, I mean, India will have to continue to do some of the things it's doing, which is public infrastructure investment, keep at it, make sure that the timelines are met, improve the ease of doing business. Being able to buy and sell land should be an easier job than what it is right now, and plugging India back into the global supply chain in a much more stronger way, which will require, cutting back some of the tariffs that they have, which are quite high.
Yeah. The target for India, of course, is to become a $10 trillion economy, to become developed, I think, by 2047. The first target of $10 trillion in terms of the Indian economy, do you believe that's achievable in the finite future?
For 2047 is a long way off.
Yes.
And the world is not remaining stationary. There's lots that happen.
Sure.
Again, it is one of those, it's a good aspiration to have, and it's going to take much bigger structural reforms than what we've seen in the last decade.
Smriti ji, let me ask you my first question, which is this. We keep talking about India's demographic dividend and the potential that it holds. That can never be achieved without the role of women, right?
I think for too long we have, as Indians and global narratives, focused on what we can do for India, what is happening currently in India. And I believe that time has come that we shift the narrative to Indians leading the global narrative on issues such as inclusion, climate change, health innovations for global good. Many a times people constrain us only to our geography, believing that we may be only experts on the Indian demography. So the lounge that you see here is not a lounge which is dedicated only to the cause of inclusion or to the energy of inclusion, limited to India. We are saying we've done this in India for the world, and we are taking our learnings to even internationally acclaimed establishments such as the World Bank, the United Nations, creating collaborations with organizations like the WHO, looking at budgets by policymakers, by global innovators and captains of industry globally with regards to how much of investment can come to women-owned businesses, how much of investment can come to companies that are dedicated, let's say, to health innovations and products to make the health of an individual woman better, and how to make sure that these products are more and more affordable.
Let's talk about the money. $12 trillion?
I talk about
By 2025, if gender equality is fully realized, there's a number to it. It's not just talk for the sake of talk.
to it, but how do you reach that number, correct? You are at Davos, where there is conversation predominantly on the impact of AI and automation. Now, looking at if jobs are automated, 70% of the jobs that will go are jobs done by women, because most of the jobs of female professionals are at entry level. What happens to that big labor force that we have encouraged till now to become a part of global reality, how do they get displaced? What are the strategies of policymakers, of companies with regards to such human potential and capacity? The other part is that if you look around Davos, the conversation this year is on the next level of AI engagement. Till now, many Indians, or for that matter, global citizens, have looked at AI from a generative AI perspective, which means you give a prompt to a chat GPT, it tells you what to draft. It may give you a prompt on music, on art, but it doesn't help you manifest, let's say, a workflow. Now, what happens when you have AI agents, which will now become the buzzword for 2025, which is a compounded methodology of AI? Many people presume AI is the new buzzword. AI has been in existence since the 1950s. Now, AI agents will actually lead to a further displacement of talent. Are we ready for it? Because in low-income economies around the world, the internet reach is just 20, maximum 30%. Now, these are all issues that need a conversation around.
A unique honking incident took place in Shivamoga just 2 days ago. In a city where there is a campaign on no honking, the cops decided to hand out a rather unconventional punishment. Take a look. The Adani Group chairman Gautam Adani attended the ongoing Kumbh Mela, the world's largest religious gathering in UP's Prayagraj. Mr. Adani also visited the camp of the ISKCON temple at the fair and helped in cooking Mahaprasad.
Adani Group chairman Gautam Adani on Tuesday attended the Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj. Mr. Adani, his wife Preeti Adani, who is the chairperson of the Adani Foundation, and son Karan Adani, the managing director of Adani Ports in SEZ Limited, also offered prayers at the Triveni Sangam, the point where the Ganga, Yamuna and mythical Saraswati rivers meet. Mr. Adani also visited the camp of the ISKCON temple at the fair and helped cook Mahaprasad. The Adani Group and ISKCON have joined hands to serve meals to devotees at the Kumbh Mela. The Mahaprasad will be offered for the entire duration of the Kumbh, scheduled to end on February 26th. Mr. Adani also thanked Prime Minister Modi and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath for the arrangements at the Kumbh, which is the largest religious gathering on earth.
मैंने भी ऐसा सोचा नहीं था, जो यहाँ आके जो अनुभव मिला है वो आम और नहीं है। आप एक देखो तो यहाँ की जो व्यवस्था और भव्यता जो बनाई हुई है, तो मैं सच्चे दिल से प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और मुख्यमंत्री योगी जी ये अपने सब भारतवासियों की तरफ से मैं उनको धन्यवाद दूंगा।
Praising the arrangements, Mr. Adani added that the organization of Kumbh at such a scale is the subject of research from management institutes and corporates.
जिस तरह से व्यवस्था रखी हुई है, ये मेरे हिसाब से मैनेजमेंट इंस्टीट्यूट और कॉर्पोरेट हाउस के लिए भी एक रियली संशोधन का विषय है।
Mr. Adani also reiterated the group's commitment to partner in UP's growth.
उत्तर प्रदेश में जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है वो बहुत ज़्यादा है। इतनी 25-27 करोड़ की आबादी है और डेवलपमेंट की जिस दिशा में उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार काम कर रही है, उसमें अदानी ग्रुप का कंटिन्यूसली योगदान रहेगा। तो हम लोग कमिटेड है उत्तर प्रदेश में ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करें।
The Adani family also performed puja at the Lete Hanuman temple in Prayagraj. Mr. Adani also distributed food outside the temple. The Adani Group has also collaborated with the Gita Press for a free distribution of 1 crore copies of the Aarti Sangraha among devotees at the Mahakumbh. Bureau reports, NDTV.